Hello, fellow nerds. Thanks for clicking. It's time for a Tim Gwain look at nerdy stuff. This is the beginning of a series of videos that I'll be making over the next few weeks. I'll be talking about the precession of the equinoxes, aka the Great Year, and human history, and the future. It may even expand into biblical mythos and other related sun god myths. We'll see. To begin with, I want to discuss just how ancient the constellations are. I had always assumed that they were simply a fairly new concept, that of being Greco-Roman in origin. However, it seems to be the consensus that what we know of the shapes of the constellations within the zodiac date as far back as the Sumerians in 2300 BCE. Point of reference. I'll be using the time designations BCE and CE. BCE stands for before the Common Era and replaces BC, before Christ. CE is Common Era and replaces AD, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. So, we know that the Greeks created the map of the constellations we know today, consisting of 48 of the 88 constellations. They were incorporated from two different sources. The 12 signs of the zodiac were developed in Mesopotamia for religious and ritual traditions circa 3200 to 500 BCE, and taken by the Greeks in 500 BCE. The others seem to have come from Babylon and appear to date as far back as 2800 BCE, and they include Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, and what we know as Hercules, Ophiuchus, Bootes, and Aragia. There are also larger southern marine constellations such as Perseus, and other animals have unknown origins. We know the Greeks and subsequently the Romans made use of the zodiac and other constellations. They had incorporated their versions of the myths to tell stories of the various groups of stars, including Argus, which may come up again in a later video. We know that they took those constellations from the Mesopotamians and the Babylonians. The Mesopotamian zodiac has been dated at around 3200 BCE with the Sumerians. The thing about the Sumerians, it is they who are credited with dividing time and space into the 360-degree division of not just the globe, but space. Almost 1,000 years later, the Babylonians adopted it. The Sumerians called the 12 major zodiacal constellations the Shiny Herd. And this table shows the Sumerian name, translation, and the modern name of each of the 12 major constellations. And now we get to the cool part. The Sumerians were always believed to have been the earliest to have created the zodiac. However, Dr. Elma Parsanian, an Armenian astrophysicist, discovered an observatory in Metsamor, Armenia. This discovery had examples of dividing the year into 12 sections and used the 12 zodiac creatures. Also, it correlates to stone carvings of zodiac figures on rocks in the Gegama mountain range in Armenia, dated circa 4000 to 3000 BCE. But it gets even cooler than that. In southwestern France, there are caves known as the Lascaux Cave Complex. There are many paintings of different animals. And near to the entrance of the Lascaux Cave Complex is a magnificent painting of a bull. And Hanging over its shoulder is what appears to be a map of the Pleiades, the cluster of stars sometimes called the Seven Sisters. Inside the bowl painting, there are also indications of spots that may be a representation of other stars found in the region of the sky. Today, this region forms part of the constellation of Taurus, the bull. In recent years, new research has suggested that the Lascaux paintings may incorporate prehistoric star charts. Dr. Michael Rappengluck of the University of Munich argued that some of the non-figurative dot clusters and dots within some of the figurative images correlate with the constellations of Taurus, the Pleiades, and the group known as the Summer Triangle. Also, based on her own study of the astronomical significance of Bronze Age petroglyphs in, I can't pronounce this, so I'm just going to put it up here, and her extensive survey of other prehistoric cave painting sites in the region, most of which appear to have been specifically selected because the interiors are illuminated by the setting sun on the day of the winter solstice. French researcher Chantal, and I'm not going to mess up her last name either, has further proposed that the gallery of figurative images in the Great Hall represents an extensive star map, and that key points on the major figures in the group correspond to stars in the main constellations as they appeared in the Paleolithic era, leading to the remarkable suggestion of a direct transfer of information of over 17,000 years. Think about that. What it's talking about is there's a possibility that information had been passed down for over 14,000 years before our earliest examples of these very things. That's amazing. Now, to set up future videos discussing the Great Year, I really feel that it is important to add to this video a little about the Hindu zodiac. And I can't do it justice, so I'm just going to give credit to the article, The Origin of the Zodiac, Astrology, and read what it said. So it says, the names of the Hindu zodiac and corresponding Greek signs sound different, being in Sanskrit and Greek respectively, but it has been long recognized that their symbols are identical. For example, Danu means bow and corresponds to Sagittarius, the archer, and Kumbha means water pitcher and corresponds to Aquarius, the water carrier. The correspondence of signs is taken to suggest the possibility of early interchange of cultural influences. But while it is generally assumed that the similarity between the symbols in both systems is because of a Greek presence circa 50 BC, it is contended this is supposition, and that there is clearly evidence of trading between the Sumerian and Babylonian cultures and the Indus Valley culture millennia before the Greeks were ever in Asia. And the Sumerians have a record of astrological symbols that dated back to circa 2000 BCE. Sidharth points out that there are several references to the zodiac in the Arji Veda and Mahabharata, both of which are ancient texts which predate any Greek influence in Asia. He said of it, an Arji Vedic hymn refers to the 12 fixed parts of the wheel and also to the 12 forms in connection with the sun. The hymn next describes the 12 lunar months, specifically mentioning the 13th additional month required in this scheme. An RG Vedic hymn to the Asvins, quoted in the Mahabharata, also refers to the 12 zodiac signs. Undoubtedly, the 12 zodiacal signs were known. Other hymns support this conclusion. This is probably the origin of the later conception of the 12 Adityas, or sun gods. While I do not in any way, shape, or form believe that the zodiac can tell a person's fate and future, I do hold stock in the zodiac's ability to tell time. When looking at the stars and the constellations, we have a wealth of knowledge of the past, present, and the future. We can divide the epochs of the past and look at the progress possible in the future. In my next video, I'm going to present the Great Year, as Plato called it. It is the precession of the sun through the zodiacal constellations. It's a study that I found several years ago, and I find it a fascinating rabbit hole to investigate. For now, however, I'm going to pause this discussion. This preliminary primer into the zodiac simply sets the stage for the deeper dive into the stars, if that's an actual thing. So, if you like this video, please do me a favor and hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I would love that as well. No pressure though. And if you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, feel free to comment down below, and I will be very pleased to try to do what I can do to bring the content that you're interested in. But for now, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.